Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's the 13th of November. My name is Tom. This is Ian. We are here to cover Ipswich Town versus Oxford United and a drab 0-0 draw.
I've seen a lot worse 0-0 draws. It wasn't a bad drab one at all. But yes, I think for the fourth time out of 5 games against Ipswich, and quite unbelievably, considering the free-scoring nature of both of the sides, this one did end 0-0. A point that Oxford are much more grateful for than I think Ipswich are. Yeah. I think at times we certainly got away with it. But we'll go over things about the game. But generally, from an Oxford point of view, a hard-fought 0-0 draw.
Yeah. They were arguably maybe 51-49 the better side in the first half. Put together some really good runs of play. They definitely bossed possession in that first half. The second half, it looked like they'd had a halftime team talk of, well, we're going to lose this game, so everyone get behind the ball and hope for the best. Kind of get the feeling that they were like, but Gaffer, we're not. It's 0-0. And he was like, no, don't worry. The second half is going to be completely different. Get behind the ball. It was two very odd halves of football, really.
Yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, fantastic that Simon Eastwood kept a clean sheet. First clean sheet I think he's kept since March 2020. Well done, Eastie. Welcome back to the clean sheet club. And yeah.
The sheet of cleanliness.
I'm curious though. I mean, I thought that Oxford starting lineup was as good as they could play. With Goran getting his injury, he's probably going to be out for the season. But I don't think he would have played anymore. I think they would have played Kane in that holding role and played Brannigan and Henry and Holland and Sykes and Taylor. Just curious because you haven't seen Oxford since they beat Wednesday. What did you think of them?
I mean, they played what I thought in the first half was really good football. We talked about this on the live stream. Feel free to check it out. It's in one of these corners right now. But they played some really good possession football when they were pressed, especially in the first half. No matter what, it was 2 or 3 passes and they get out of the press. Yeah. And they had some really good forward play. They get the ball up to Taylor, who seemed to be able to find enough space to get the ball down and bring everyone else into the game. The second half, it was harder to find the positives from. They didn't try and play the ball. Everything was a long ball out. Taylor was essentially just being pushed around up front. So it was 2 very different Oxford sides. But in general, pretty much like the game against Sheffield Wednesday, they have periods where they look completely unplayable, and they have periods where it looks like all the players have made the decision to just give in for 20 minutes.
Yeah, a second half especially, it really seemed like there were times for Oxford to get little hope spots. But it wasn't really like sustained pressure. It was like where we'd maybe picked their pocket or played a good ball and someone was able to run in behind. But as rarely did we test their keeper. A few action points in the game. Look, Ipswich hit the post twice in the first half. First one was from a corner from the ever lively Macaulay Bonne. Very useful striker. But he got away from Kane, hit the post. Second one was a good save from Eastwood from a shot from the edge of the box. Sykes had Oxford's best shot, which Walton made a really good save.
Yeah, full extension.
There were a couple of, watching it without volume or low volume, it looked like Oxford should have had a penalty in that first half.
Especially the Holland one.
Yeah, especially when Holland broke through and it looked like he was dragged down. If you're an Oxford fan, I'd like to know your thoughts. If you're an Ipswich fan, I'd like to know your thoughts on it. But second half for me, it was a little bit biting your nails because Ipswich really came on strong, I thought, in that one.
They did. They came on strong, but there was it was a completely different Oxford performance in the second half. They get pressed, and instead of doing what they did in the first half of pass into the middle, pass it back, pass in the middle, and then just slowly work the ball out, they were just clearing it. Every time they gave the ball to Eastwood, he just had to boot it forward because the players weren't getting back fast enough. It was a completely different Oxford side. In the first half, it was how many goals are there going to be? In the second half, it was this is either 1-0 to Ipswich or a 0-0 draw. Yeah, there was so little.
You felt Ipswich would score in the game. You really did. And it's very surprising. I don't think they've had many shutouts, so it's quite surprising to shut this side out. But
what's the best part of the game, though?
You might be thinking of something. My mind is drawn to horrific pantomime villain levels of Oxford play wasting time.
No,
you're probably talking about the buddy cop movie between Paul Cook.
The bromance between Cook and Robinson. I mean, absolutely hilarious, where at one point it looked like Carl Robinson was going to assault the fourth official over something, and Paul Cook is just holding him back and smiling like, whoever thought I have to get out of my technical area for this? There was a lot of friendliness on the side of the pitch. There was a lot of chatting. Carl Robinson's yellow. I'd really like to know what happened there. Like, he must have had to say something horrific because it looked like a foul on TV. The Oxford players thought it was a foul. And I don't know, like, what the point of the fourth official is there for if you can't go, what the hell is happening?
Paul Cook's holding him back. Yeah. Like, the opposition manager is holding Carl Robinson back from shit. It's like, I've never seen anything like that.
That's amazing.
So, a hard-fought point for Oxford. I mean, not really much to dwell on it. They weren't, certainly in the second half, they weren't at their best, but they fought it out and have kept an unbeaten run going. It's a pretty decent run we're on now. I'm not sure where that's put us in the standings, but as I said, it was a better point for Oxford United than it was for Ipswich. I thought both sides probably were at their best when they turned possession over quickly.
Yep.
And were trying. There was many times where it was like, and dare I say it, like a basketball game. They were countering, we were countering, and it made a really good spectacle in the first half. Second half, as I said, it was a little bit hanging
First half was great because whenever Ipswich had the ball, they looked like they'd score. Oxford had a lot more of the ball and fashioned a ton of great chances. Interesting thing kept happening where ton of good got into good areas without fashioning good chances. They put a ball into the back post and everyone would run to the front post. Then they put a ball into the front post and everybody ran to the back post. Especially in the second half, Taylor was just dragged wide. And the minute Taylor's dragged wide, it's like the box is hot lava and no one else is allowed to run into it unless Matt Taylor's in it. So no one was ever in the box. That was tough to deal with. Sykes, I thought, had a pretty good game. I'd single him out. Holland, when he got on the ball, could be really useful. But he floats in and out of games a lot, and that was...
Again, it's difficult. I mean, it just struggles to get... He struggled to get him into the game more in the second half, and he really just faded out of it. But a good, solid performance from the defence. I thought they put in a good...
Moore and Thornley?
Yeah, Moore and Thornley, yeah.
Really good.
And Long and Seddon certainly did their part in there as well. And Eastwood when he was needed.
He had a good save in the second half. I know you didn't like it as much as the first half save. That's true. But it was still a good save and it was a deflection. All in all, this keeps Oxford in 6th place. They're on 28 points alongside Sunderland and MK Dons. So Sunderland have dropped out, but they have a game in hand, which could knock Oxford out based on goal difference and head-to-head record with MK Dons. I suppose, Ian, we're only 16 games in. There's a lot of football to play, but how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling okay. I mean, this was a tough game. It's good to get a point. One of the big problems we had last season was beating the bigger sides in the league, and this is a chance we had to go and beat an Ipswich side, and we haven't been able to do it. But if you can't do it, make sure you don't get beat yourself. So I'd say Oxford didn't. In the second half, it was a little bit disappointing that they didn't really show a lot of ambition to go and win the game. It became very much what you have, we hold. And as I say again, the play acting from Oxford, and if you're an Ipswich fan, I would say that some of the play acting from Oxford and the diving around and the rolling around was pretty comical and pretty bad. So if you're pissed off at that, I totally get it.
Let's just quickly talk about Ipswich, especially the second half. They're the better side. I think if the game was all about fairness, they'd have probably won this game 1-0. Selena Cam did some really good
probably
work.
Getting those names wrong, I imagine.
Sorry, Chalina at Cam did really well. Bond looked ever lively. I was let down by Edwards. I thought every time he got himself in a good position, he managed to fail to put a good ball in the box. Burns, I didn't notice do a huge amount in that game, but what I did notice was when they played the ball, and especially in the second half, they created so many openings. They completely outplayed Oxford in the midfield. So, well done to them. But 0-0 draw is great for Oxford. Ian, your parting thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've summed it up saying it was a better point for Oxford than it was for Ipswich, which it's a tough week for Oxford. They started on a pretty good note there. We got FA Cup away against Bristol Rovers, and then we're going to Wigan away next weekend, which is a game I'm going to. So hopefully I'll have some, in-game match stuff to talk about, and the video might be a little bit different next week. But all in all, not much more to say. There will be the usual stuff on the channel: Premier League predictions, League One predictions, and probably a bonus one for the Bristol Rovers game this week as well. And other than that, Tom will just round this video off.
Thank you for watching. Please do consider subscribing, like the video, comment below with your thoughts on the match. Consider supporting us on Patreon. It's what pays for us to watch these and do the live streams. We appreciate all of your interaction, all the love you guys have shown us, and we will see you for Premier League, League One, and Bristol Rovers.